All right, good morning, everybody. My name is John Edward Miranda, and I will be your instructor for IT 01. This is Living with the IT Era under social media applications. Okay, so today we will be covering the introduction. For the rest of the course, we will be covering 10 different chapters. Since this is the first chapter, this is going to be the introduction to information communication technology. So, without further ado, let's begin our discussion. Okay, so we have information communication technology here as showing on your screen. This is my PowerPoint presentation. So our objectives today are as follows. So there. But let us now start by defining what is information communication technology, or we also know this as ICT. Okay. So ICT is any devices that has the capability to locate, save, send, and edit information. Okay. So that's just basically it. If we talked about ICT, so long as that device has the ability to locate, save, send, and edit information, that's already considered to be an ICT device. Okay. Now I'll be showing you different icons on your screens right now, and these icons are considered to be as ICT devices. Okay, so we'll not go over them one by one because you guys can communicate by just seeing the icons, since you guys are already using emoticons on your phones daily, so you guys are already familiar with this. Okay. And ICT in the Philippines, we are also known as the ICT hub of Asia because we are the leading when it comes to BPO industry or the call center industry. And BPO stands for business process outsourcing. Okay. So 19.3% was actually the total ICT industry shares. For the Philippines, this was way back 2010. But this was skyrocketed during the COVID era. So I think that's a total of 60% for the shared ICT industry for the total employment population, because most of the workers already shifted to using ICT devices due to the work from home setup. Okay. And in 2013, according to International Telecommunication Union, there are about 106.8 cell phones per 100 Filipinos. Okay. So that means that one person, especially if it's a Filipino, there is a high possibility that that person has two phones or more than that. Maybe that person has a smartphone, at the same time he has a tablet, computer, or maybe another set of a phone, probably running in iOS or in Android. Okay. And the Makati city, according to Time magazine, was the rank one when it comes to selfiest cities around the world. And Cebu City is rank nine. And this is not just entire the Philippines, this is actually around the world. Okay. So this is already a pride for us Filipinos here. Let's talk about the internet. Okay. So what is the internet? If we're gonna talk about the internet, this is just basically an interconnected networks. Okay. And when we talk about the internet, of course, we have the World Wide Web, okay, or the triple W dot. It's easier to say the World Wide Web instead of saying www dot, right? So it's better if you say World Wide Web because it's easier. There's only like three syllables in it. Okay, now the World Wide Web is actually invented by Tim Berners-Lee. They invented it by using hypertext links, which are now being used by web designers to actually create websites. And when we talk about hypertext links, there is this thing that we call HTML, or hypertext markup language. These are the codes or series of codes that are being used by our programmers or web designers to create stunning websites. And we also have here web pages, websites, and web browsers. Okay? So when we talk about web pages, these are your hypertext documents connected to the World Wide Web. So basically, these are any other clickable things that you find over the internet. So if you see something that is clickable and it redirects you to a different site, that's already a web page. Okay? And websites, of course, these are also known as the domain sites. Okay. And some of it you guys are already familiar when it comes to websites. We know that we have a google.com, youtube.com, twitter.com, Facebook.com, and many other more. Those are considered to be websites. Okay, and web browsers are the software applications that we use for us to be able to navigate the World Wide Web. So without web browsers, we won't be able to access the internet. Okay. So when we talk about web browsers, there's a lot of software applications that we can use, and the most famous one is your Google Chrome. Okay, and we also have Microsoft Edge, Safari for Apple devices, and many other more like Opera Mini, UC Browser, Mozilla Firefox, and so on and so forth. Okay. There are also differences between static and dynamic web pages. Okay. So when we talk about Web 1.0, this is called a static web page. And if we talk about Web 2.0, it's called dynamic web. Okay. Now, the only difference is that in static web, it's just flat. It cannot be manipulated by the user. That means that you are not allowed to create an account on that particular website because your only point of view is for you to view and read all of the contents of that particular website. An example of a static web page is Wikipedia because you cannot do anything there aside from um, copying and pasting the entire content or reading the entire content of that particular article. And that's the reason why Wikipedia is considered to be a flat page. We also have the dynamic web. Dynamic web is a page that allows user interaction. Examples of which are your Facebook. Why does it allow web pages interaction? Because you can already create an account. You can like, you can share, you can react, you can comment, and do many other things that you can interact with different users all around the world. Okay, that's the reason why it's considered to be a dynamic web page. And there is this thing called semantic web page. The only difference between the three is that Web 3.0 uses artificial intelligence or the logical decision makings. This is actually being used now by different websites like TikTok, even Facebook, with their ads now running on different platforms, they are now using artificial intelligence to detect the content that you viewed mostly. So, if you really wanted to see things like animals, cute cats, or dogs, if you keep on watching those types of short clips, then most probably some of the recommendations that would appear on your timeline are also cute dogs and cats and many other animals. That's Web 3.0, and that's powered by artificial intelligence, and that is called semantic web page. Okay. Now, there are many different problems arising when it comes to Web 3.0, and that's the reason why we are still encountering different problems today. First thing is the compatibility. Now, some of these files are not compatible with HTML or the hypertext markup language because this is not just the coding mechanism that is being used now by our web designers to create stunning websites. They are also using different software applications to create web pages like semantic web pages, and there are already problems arising when it comes to browsers due to compatibility issue. We also have security issue, and this has been a running problem ever since the internet was invented, because a lot of people can still hack your device, particularly your password. Even if it's already a strong password, there are still decrypting mechanisms, and these are still problems that are arising and yet to be solved. Logical issues happens when there are mismatch with the recommendations that are appearing on your timelines. Let's just say you keep on watching animal videos, but there are political videos that are keep getting lost on the mix on your timeline. That's already a problem with the logic issues for Web 3.0, the semantic web pages. And there are also many different trends in ICT now. The first one is convergence. Okay, the convergence is just basically the fusion of um, two or more different ICT devices in order for you to come up with a common goal. So if you are using a computer and a printer at the same time for you to be able to print a copy of or a hard copy of a file that you just created, whether that's a research project or whatnot, that's already considered to be a synergy between the computer, which is the main source of information, and then of course your printer. So if you connected the two, then you already achieved your goal, which is to print out a hard copy of the file. And that's just one of the examples of convergence. Okay, and there are many other more. Social media. Social media are divided into six different categories. We have social networks, bookmarking sites, social news, media sharing, microblogging, blogs, and forums. Okay, so social networks, we have Facebook and Google because in here you get to connect with different people with the same interests and same background. Okay, so these are the examples of social networks that we call in the social media application world. So Facebook and Google. We also have bookmarking sites. So all you have to do in these sites are actually check the things that you were interested with. So examples are pictures, whether that be an art picture, animated picture, or whatever, any other platforms of picture. All you have to do is to pin them or bookmark them, and then you would be able to have access on those particular pictures or clips or whatever content you are browsing over the internet. StumbleUpon and Pinterest are examples of these sites. Okay, and social news. Social news, we have reddit.com and dig.com, but right now here in the Philippines we are using or we have different social applications for our social news outlets, like your GMA, ABS-CBN, TV5. They already have their own websites as well, where you can actually check the news. So you have to visit their webpage for you to be able to get updated on what is happening on your local community or in the international community as well. Media sharing, of course, you guys are very familiar with this. We have YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Flickr. So anything that you can actually share different contents are considered to be media sharing applications. Okay. And this is where your bloggers comes in, your social media influencers, and so on and so forth. Microblogging, we have Twitter and Flickr. Why is it called microblogging? Because it's only limited with so much character. In Twitter, I think you are only limited to 140 characters. So if you already surpass that limit, it won't allow you to post that certain tweet. So you only have to have certain characters of tweets for you to be able to broadcast whatever that you wanted to say on these social media platforms, and that's why it's called microblogging. And it's the reason why even if you post every second, there is no problem with that because it's called microblogging. Blogs and forums, these are the first and foremost examples of social media applications that were being used, particularly in the late 2000s, like around 2006, 7, 8, 9, 10. So those era, we have Friendster. This is an example of a blogs and forum, but Friendster is no longer accessible now since it's already down. And we also have your WordPress, Tumblr, and then Blogger. So those are examples of blogs and then forums. Or continuing with the trends, we also have mobile technologies. So when we talk about mobile technologies, there are two leading competitors with this in the telecommunication market. We have iOS, that's the product of the Apple, and Android is for Google. Okay, so most of the people are actually Android users because it's cheap, it's open source, and it's easier to navigate. And some have iOS users as well, where they have iPhones, and it's expensive. And that's the reason why some of the people are not actually using this particular mobile device because it's expensive. But it's actually, when it comes to quality, then you better switch to iOS. And the latest mobile devices uses 5G networks now. It's called fifth generation. The previous network that we used was 4G. It stands for fourth generation, or it's also known as LTE. LTE stands for long-term evolution, and that's the signal that we are actually using for our telecommunication um, service providers like Globe, Smart, Talk and Text, Touch Mobile, Sun Cellular, and so on and so forth. We also have assertive media. Now, this is actually built in for the people who has um, sense incapabilities. Like for example, voice recognition device. If you're not able to touch your phone or device, like let's say you're being amputated or you're inborn with a particular ailment, preventing you to actually touch your screen due to lack of fingers or hands, you can actually use voice recognition to command whatever it is that you wanted your smartphone to do or your ICT device to do. Like let's say in Apple they have Siri. I think in Windows they have Cortana. In Google they have Alex. So you can actually tell them a command like let's say Siri, open Netflix and play something something. Then automatically without even touching your mobile phone, as long as they recognize your voice, and the command will be actually be executed. Okay, so those are examples of assertive media, and that's the end of the slide. Okay, so next meeting we will be covering chapter 2. So I will see you all. Thank you for watching my video and have a good day.
For more ICCT College's video updates, please subscribe and click the notification button.